November 2010 and behind me is the start of a new build. In the series, I'm going to be looking at the process of house building from a fresh perspective. Assisted by a team of experts, I'll work on the decisions that have to be made when building or renovating a house. Focusing on the subject of livability, I'll be talking to all involved in the decision making, and I'll be sharing with you the step-by-step experience of Dolls Houses. I'm with Nicholas James, kitchen designer and creator, in fact, Nicholas. And Nicholas is going to share with us some of his top tips on how to prepare looking for a kitchen. It's not just about turning up to the shop, is it, Nicholas, and just having, I want one of those.
No.
You were mentioning earlier the first things to think about are the big furniture in the kitchen. So I suppose that the biggest one's got to be the good old oven.
The cooker.
Why does it make such a difference?
Well, when you start off with an empty room, a kitchen designer is going to, first of all, want to ask you what equipment you're going to be putting into the room. For most people, it's where you're preparing your meals. Let's assume you're a cook. The most important piece of equipment is your cooking equipment. And cookers nowadays come in lots of different shapes and sizes. You can get tall ones, short ones, wide ones. So this is very, very important that we establish right at the beginning what sort of equipment you're putting into the room. And the cooker is the first piece. The second important piece is your fridge. And again, we've all seen these lovely American fridges in homes these days. Very, very big piece of equipment. I would like to know as a designer where, if we're going to have one of those,
right,
I can then make a start already looking around the room, because there are only certain places in the room where this can go. And then really possibly last on that little list is your sink. Again, terribly important to understand where we're going to go, and there can be some constraints. Historically in kitchens, we've always put a sink underneath the window. But that would be our starting point. Let's find out what equipment you're putting into the room, because everything then tends to follow on from that.
And I do remember from my cookery days at school, there was something they called the magic triangle.
Yeah.
Does this mean anything to you, Nicholas?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no point in having an enormous kitchen. And houses, some of the houses nowadays are extremely big, and we have room for tables and sofas and other things going on in the kitchen. This is quite popular now. There's no point in having your cooker miles away from a fridge and miles away from the sink. The idea behind the magic triangle is really just understanding the idea that the kitchen still has to produce meals. That's its primary function. And so we want to keep those key pieces of equipment, the cooker, the fridge, and the sink. Those make up the so-called triangle. We need to keep them close together. It's not so much about having them in a triangle arrangement.
Oh, I like that idea.
Well,
Bermuda Triangle.
It's nice if you can. It's nice if you can achieve it, but it isn't always possible. More important that they actually work and interact in a way with your work surfaces, so that you are able to carry out the basic function of the kitchen, which is to produce meals and produce them efficiently with the easiest amount of cleaning and so on and so forth. And I might add, another important thing for me as a designer is the dishwasher. When I put a dishwasher into a kitchen, and we all have them nowadays, I like to think that my customers can empty that dishwasher quickly. It's something which is being done every single day. There's no point in having the cutlery drawer at the other end of the kitchen because there's a lovely pretty dresser. I'd rather have the cutlery drawer near to the dishwasher, and along with all the crockery that comes out of the dishwasher, you want to be able to go to a nearby cupboard.
Yes.
Again, we have to try and take that into account. And that's a new piece of equipment that wasn't around 30, 40, 50 years ago, say.
Do you know, you've really hit on something there, because I'm thinking about my parents' kitchen, which is very old, and you do literally have to walk all the way over to the other side of the kitchen to do one thing, and all the way to the other side, and do you know what? No one does it. No one can be bothered.
Yeah.
So it just sits there waiting for mum to do it.
It's a very common problem.
Great, well that's a good start. I think that's step one. Thank you very much.
Not at all. Glad to be of service.